Why hello there, I'm Sega Sonic Guy, or Leo, and in today's video I'm looking at an Iceberg, about who else but Sonic the Hedgehog. Now this is a bit different from the content I usually do, but I want to branch out, instead of just covering merchandise. This is a big franchise, you know. Well, before we start, I want to address a couple things. One, this isn't my Iceberg. It's made by King Boater on Reddit, so credits to them. And then second, some things might be dark, and some things might not be suitable for some people, so this is your warning. Also, thank y'all for 700 subs. We're so close to 1,000. But anyway, enough wasting time. This is going to be a big video. So with that, grab some Sonic SpaghettiOs and a Sonic energy drink. Actually no, drink water. And let's go. First layer, the sky. Sonic Extreme. Sonic Extreme is the most famous cancelled Sonic game. Why? Well, it was going to be the first 3D Sonic game, and was very ambitious. Being made by Sega Technical Institute, this game was going to be the best game of the decade, but I did say was. You see, due to constantly having to switch consoles during development, tight deadlines, and even Yuji Naka, after seeing the development of the game, simply said, good luck. Although being cancelled, there is a lot of stuff we have. Sprites, commercials, a script for a movie based around this game, and even a Sonic ice cream bar wrapper. Dr. Kentober. Dr. Kentober was the original personality of Eggman, being a smart and nice guy, even trying to get rid of all the evil in Mobius by putting him in Chaos Emeralds. Well, after finding his 6-month-old boiled egg, and accidentally tripping over a cable, it went kaboom, transporting all the evil into the once good Doctor, and now the evil Dr. Robotnik. All of what I just said came from the Sonic the Hedgehog Bible, which explains the origins of Sonic and Eggman, and although not really being used in the US, it was heavily used in the UK, with the Fleetway Sonic comic books. Nick Arcade footage. During an episode of Nick Arcade in 1992, contestants were able to pick from 3 games, and one of those happened to be a prototype for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. There are some notable differences from the final game, like this weird Motobug prototype, and for some reason Emerald Hill uses the Starlight Zone music.
Okay, so grab some rings.
Unused goggles. Within the code for Sonic 1, there are several sprites for goggles, and an animation of Sonic wearing them. Now, we don't know why it was cut from the game, but we can theorize that it was used in Labyrinth Zone. But for now, that's all we have. The Sonic Cycle. The Sonic Cycle is a fan-made graph, showing the average state of a Sonic fan, with the game being teased and fans getting excited, but then some more screenshots are released, and their hope goes a little bit down. Then the game comes out and it's terrible, but then it happens again. I honestly find this funny, since it is a bit true. The Barrel. The Barrel, for you young fans, the barrel was a notorious obstacle in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. When you were on top of it, you had to click up and down on the D-pad until you had an opening to go. Pretty simple today, but not really in 1994. There was no clear indication what to do, so a majority of players were left stuck and confused, and looking it up on the internet wasn't really an option. But nowadays, all players know how to get through it, and I find it cool that Sega made a mug of it. Director's Cut differences. This entry is about the differences between the Dreamcast Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube, and thanks to the cutting room floor for this. Some of those differences are the menu, pause menu, models, water effects, graphics, and just so much more. Beta Windy Valley. Back when we got our first look at Sonic Adventure, one of the first zones showed to us was Windy Valley. Not that one, this one. When the game came out, however, this version of it was nowhere to be seen. However, there are some mods that remake the beta version, like this one in the background. The Secretary menu. We all know the Secretary, that important character from SA2. Well, I guess for some reason there's an Easter egg involving her. In Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, go to Help and Options, then go to Settings, then to Character Themes, then go back and forth between Tails and Eggman until you see her icon. Click it. Now do all those steps again. Voila, there you go. This is one of the weirdest Easter eggs I've ever seen. Honey the Cat. Within the code for Sonic the Fighters, there's an unused character called Honey the Cat. Now Honey is actually based off a character from Fighting Vipers, a character with the same name, but even though she's an unused character, she has made some appearances in the comics. Sonic 3 Leftovers. I think this is referring to the unused things left over in the final release. Oh wait, yeah, I know. Since Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles were going to be one game, there's some leftover things from Sonic and Knuckles. Most of it was leftover zones, so let me skim over those. Flying Battery Zone, Mushroom Valley Zone, Sandopolis Zone, Lava Reef Zone, Sky Sanctuary, and Death Egg Zone, and then Doomsday Zone. There are some more things, but honestly, this deserves its own video. Samari's Unknown Origins. One of the most famous famous bootlegs for Sonic 1 is Samari, which pretty much replaces Sonic with Mario. Being developed by Hummer Team, this is of course an unlicensed game for the Famicom. Now it's unknown where this game was created, although we do know the name Samari was trademarked in Taiwan on March 1st, 1994, and was advertised in magazines in Hong Kong, and that's pretty much all there is. And now that I learned about this game, I want it. I'll pay the 50. Mephiles is Satan. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, unfortunately, or fortunately, I couldn't find anything on this. So, yeah. Big the Cat SA2 locations. One of the most unpopular characters to play in Sonic Adventure is Big the Cat. Having tedious gameplay, it just feels like luck getting through the stage half the time. And I'm guessing after Sega got a lot of mail regarding Big, they knew what to do. So in Sonic Adventure 2, Big is not a playable character. Although I guess to not disappoint any Big fans, there are little cameos of Big, just in random places. And half the time it's just goofy seeing him here. Like, Big, how did you get here? But just like that, we finished the first layer. So let's go to Layer 2, Tip of the Iceberg. Sonic Crackers. Sonic Crackers is a 1994 prototype of what would become Knuckles Chaotix, and this is by far the earliest prototype. You're able to play as Sonic who's attached to Tails via that magic ring. But anyway, there's a surprising amount of content to see here. There's several zones, or I'm sorry, attractions, with there being 2 hub worlds called fields, but there's no real collision. Honestly, there's a lot to see, and honestly, this deserves its own video. The Sky Chase Dragon. In Sky Chase and Sonic Adventure, the normal boss we go up against is the A Carrier. However, in the code for the game, there's an unfinished boss battle. In the game, it doesn't really do anything, just it having a looped animation, but in early screenshots of the game, we can actually see it attacking us, with one of the heads breathing fire, and it would have been cool playing this boss battle. Magic Gloves. In Sonic Adventure 2, there's power-ups you can collect for characters, which was established in the previous game, Sonic Adventure, with the most famous out of all of them being the Lightspeed Dash. Well, anyway, one of the weirdest power-ups is the Magic Gloves. Although having a pretty decent and cool design, its usefulness is questionable, with it allowing you to capture enemies in a ball, then you can throw it to destroy it. It's a really weird power-up. I mean, just use the homing attack. Mr. Needle Mouse. During the period when Sega was designing potential mascots, there was a lot of concept art being made, like an American wolf, a Mega Man-like design, a bulldog, and we have little Timmy here. And one of the most famous concepts, that being Fields the Rabbit. Well, finally, one concept art was created. Being made by Nato Oshima, he suggested the mascot be a human-like hedgehog, and with that, history was made. Well, there has been some confusion on what the name for this design was, with Needle Mouse being a mistranslation of Mr. Hedgehog, and Needle Mouse being a translation for hedgehog in Japanese. Flicky 1984. Flicky is a 1984 arcade game, with it being ported to the SG-1000, and then in 1991 to the Sega Genesis. It was a platformer where we play as Flicky, with our goal being to collect the mini yellow birds, and get them to the exit, while avoiding the cats trying to get to them. Now this game is really known for it technically being the first Sonic game, with the main character Flicky, later being in Sonic the Hedgehog 1, so depending on how you look at it, the first Sonic game was made in 1984, although I wouldn't call it the first Sonic game. Robotnik is the hero. This is another fan theory that's a little interesting, so let me explain. As we can see throughout the games, Eggman doesn't choose to destroy Earth, or Mobius, Sonic World. It doesn't matter. He doesn't want to destroy Earth unlike the various other characters, such as Mephiles, the Lost Hex, Dark Gaia, etc. And also, even though he hates Sonic, killing him would be too far. And we can't forget that he has a better diet than Sonic. Although he's not skinny or athletic as Sonic, it doesn't seem that Eggman doesn't have an unhealthy diet. It's unknown what his favorite food is, but there has been some scenes where he's eating eggs and a submarine sandwich, which are healthy foods. Meanwhile, Sonic is more obsessed with junk food such as McDonald's Happy Meals, and is addicted to chili dogs, which neither are nutritious for his body. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Splats. Splats is a popular unused enemy from Sonic 1. Although not being used, it has made many appearances in games, such as Sonic Mania and Sonic Superstars, and Splats also making some appearances in the Fleetway, Archie, and IDW comics, and strangely got its own figurine from Tomy in the 90s, with it being in a set for Sonic and Knuckles. Pretty cool. R2. R2, or Round 2, is an unused level from Sonic CD, though we do have some things such as concept art, and even these sprites, and strangely it did make an appearance in the outro. We can see there's some plants and vines, and this Batnik, which there is a sprite of. Removed Cowgirl. In the Japanese version of Sonic Adventure, when you go to Casinopolis as Knuckles, there's a neon cowgirl sign, and the reason why it was removed is it made inappropriate noises when it was touched. So in international releases of the game, it was replaced with a more appropriate casino sign. Archie lawsuits. I'm briefly going to talk about this because there's just so much. Between 2009 and 2013, Ken Penders, who was an infamous writer for the comic, was filing lawsuits against Sega for the rights of his characters. Well, he ended up winning those lawsuits, so it caused the timeline and many characters in the comic to be changed and removed. Pingus. If you were around the YouTube poop era, you would definitely remember this meme.
Snooping as usual, I see.
Coming from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, this clip has become notable since it sounds like Robotnik is saying the P word.
Pingers!
That's it. Funny alert. 1993 Macy's Day Parade incident. In the 1993 Macy's Day Parade, Sonic made his first appearance in the parade, and was actually the first video game character to be in the parade. So you would expect it to be a good day, right? Well, due to strong winds, it pushed Sonic into a lamppost, and with it injuring a child and an off-duty police officer. And if you're wondering, they were both fine. And for Sonic, he would come back later. Michael Jackson worked on Sonic 3. Again, I'm briefly going to talk about this because there's so many other good videos that explain this. So to put it short, Michael Jackson was a fan of Sonic, so Sega hired him to produce a soundtrack for Sonic 3. Well, after, Michael didn't like how it sounded, so after an argument he was left uncredited in the game. This was finally confirmed by Yuji Naka a few years ago. And just like that, that's it for Layer 2. So now we have Layer 3, Shallow Waters. Sonic's real name is Maurice. In issue 0 of Archie Sonic, it was revealed pretty early that this is not Sonic the Hedgehog, but Sonic Maurice the Hedgehog. Oh wait, no. Ogville Maurice the Hedgehog. Yeah, it's a bit confusing. Good thing that it was never used outside the comics. Mario and Marble Zone. In Marble Zone, there's a couple of these buildings, and on them, there's a sprite that looks awfully like Mario, even though some people see something else, like two lions. A majority of people, and myself included, see Mario, but I do think this is a coincidence, because it doesn't really make sense otherwise. Movie redesign was a publicity stunt. This theory makes no sense. And it's the idea that the ugly movie Sonic design was made ugly on purpose, so it would build up popularity for the movie, and then afterwards show the actual design. Now I'm sorry, but this flat out makes no sense. I mean, why waste money designing merchandise for a design that you're never going to use in the first place? Mighty is Sonic. When you compare the Sonic 2 sprite and the Mighty sprite from Knuckles Chaotix, you can see that they're really the same, just minus a few things. You can tell Mighty was the last minute add-in, which makes sense if Sonic and Tails were going to be in Knuckles Chaotix, since there is these leftover sprites of them, though these were probably going to be used in the end credits. Oh wait, Sonic and Tails is right there. Madonna. You know, out of the many weird concepts for Sonic 1, this one strikes me as the most strangest. This, everyone, is Madonna. She was planned to be Sonic's love interest. Yeah, that's right, Sonic 06 wasn't the first time. But still, this is weird. The Tails Doll Curse. Oh, the Tails Doll. Oh, how you scared me. I actually thought the creepypasta was real, and that's what this entry is about. And to make it less confusing, I'll just give a little summary of the creepypasta. A man comes home from work ready to surprise his son with Sonic R. So the son and father have a great time playing the game that evening. So a couple days go by and the son is on the final boss. While the credits play, the father sees something weird. Hey, Sonny boy, who's that weird demon, diabolical, devious, and despicable thing I'm looking at?
It's the Tails doll.
Okay, go to bed. The father was really curious about this strange character, so he snuck into his son's room and turned the game on quietly. He played as the Tails doll and had fun, until he tagged Sonic and... Dang, I've been up for 10 hours. So the man goes back to bed with his wife. Then he goes to sleep, then wakes up after hearing thumps. Thinking it's his son going to his room to ask for something, he tells him to go back to bed, but the thumping keeps getting louder and louder. And then he sees a shadow. Then the door opens with a faint voice whispering, "You are coming with me forever." It was the doll, an evil, blood-covered, possessed little doll. Then the story ends. We can probably guess that the two had a tea party, and then lived happily ever after. But he probably got sucked into the game, which is really realistic. Nazo. Nazo is a popular fan-made character, with him being in Newgrounds animations around the 2000s, called Nazo Unleashed, and I've never watched these, so don't flame me in the comments. Now Nazo is not actually a fan-made character, because he did make an official appearance in the Sonic X pilot, well in the final seconds at least, and it turns out Nazo, which is actually a Japanese word for mystery, was actually an early design for Supersonic, and I gotta say this would have been cool if it was kept in the show, and I would have loved if you got a figure from Toy Island. Stolen display copy of Sonic 2. After the release of Sonic 1, Sonic got really popular, with Sonic 1 selling about 24 million copies, so the public was just waiting for a sequel. Well, I guess they weren't patient, because in 1992 during a New York toy fair, someone just stole it, and then years later a ROM for it was put online, which is known as the Simon Y prototype. Chaos is a mutated Chow. Chaos is a mutated Chow that surpasses the others. That's it. Red Mountain Escape Prisoner. In Sonic Adventure DX, there's these bonus missions you can get, and in Mission 30, you have to track down one of those weird prisoners from Red Mountain. In real talk, what are these? They're just so weird. Weknia. Weknia, or I'm not reading that, is a glitch character from Knuckles Chaotix, who uses leftover data from Tails, and takes the appearance of Knuckles, and a weird version of him at that. He can be found in the stage select, after doing what I put on screen. Now he doesn't really do anything since as soon as he touches the ground, the game crashes, but in a beta prototype he was actually able to fly, and use mainly Mighty's moveset. Sonic is homeless. You know, given how Sonic is always going to new places, it's not surprising that he's homeless. He does not stay in one place. But is Sonic actually homeless though? Well, yes, according to an episode of Tails Tube, but we have seen many times that he at least stays somewhere, as seen in Sonic Boom, the Sonic OVA, and of course in Archie Sonic. Sonic and Super Smash Bros. Melee. Back in 2002, an issue of EGM was released, and in it says Sonic and Tails were playable characters, along with the steps in order to unlock them. Now, if you thought this was real, then April Fools, because this is fake and just a joke for April Fools, and it definitely fooled a lot of people. Sonic is the true ultimate life form. In this theory, I guess you would call it that, it suggests Sonic is the true ultimate life form, not Shadow. Things like the ancient echidnas prophesizing the supersonic fight in Doomsday Zone, which led Gerald Robotnik to create Shadow around that mural, and with Shadow having to have rocket boots in order to match Sonic's speed, and Sonic being able to use Chaos Control with fake Chaos Emeralds. Yeah, there's a lot supporting this. But come on, let Shadow have this. Marble Zone UFOs. In an early version of Sonic 1, you could see these weird UFO-like things in the sky of Marble Zone. These were ultimately cut from the final release, but could be accessed in the 2013 release of the game, in debug mode of course. And that's it for Layer 3. Now we have Layer 4, Deep Waters. Sonic's real name is Sonny. We have yet another name entry. Back to that Sonic Bible I mentioned a while ago. In there, Sonic was actually called Sonny, until he got his speed from breaking the sound barrier on a treadmill, is when he got his new and way better name, Sonic the Hedgehog. Rouge's wonky eyes. In some cases during Sonic Adventure 2, Rouge's eyes are sometimes off, like when she doesn't blink fully, or when this glitch happens. Sonic and Knuckles Chaotix. Sonic and Chaotix is a hack of Knuckles Chaotix, where it replaces Mighty sprites with Sonic's, though Sonic was in the original game, in the good ending credits. Wait, why does he have 10 legs? Unnamed Sonic robots. In Sonic Adventure 2 and Final Egg, there's this Mecha Sonic design in the tube, though there's no name for this robot. But if you want to learn more about this, there's this great video by my boy Game Apologist, which explains this way better than I can. Tony's Pizza? Yeah, I couldn't find anything on this. Sonic Boom takes place in Sonic's mind. Again, I couldn't find anything on this. But I'm guessing that everything that happens in Sonic Boom is just taking place in Sonic's mind, I guess. Big the Cat's Secret Rings lore. This is a theory that Big is still in Secret Rings, given how we haven't seen a physical appearance of him since then, with him just making little cameos in spin-off games, and not the mainline games. But Big was kinda in Sonic Frontiers, debunking this theory entirely. Drop Dash is from Sonic 3. The Drop Dash is a cut move from Sonic 3, though it has made some appearances in re-releases of the classic games, with the most popular appearance being in Sonic Origins. Sister Sonic. Sister Sonic is a popular unreleased Sonic game. It was going to be a remake of an already existing game, called Pawful Male. It was going to replace all the characters from that game to the Sonic cast, but the main antagonist was going to be a female hedgehog, who was a relative of Sonic, though it was cancelled due to a lot of angry fan mail. Genocide City Zone. Genocide City Zone is a scrapped level from Sonic 2. It would have closely resembled Metropolis Zone, though it was scrapped due to time constraints, but I think the name played a big part of it being cancelled though. The Mystery Sonic Statue. In Japan, alongside a road, you can find a Sonic statue hanging from the trees. But this isn't just a Sonic statue, it's a statue from Sega World, and when it was discovered, it was in really bad shape, given weather and exposure to the sun. Well, in mid-2020 it was restored, and looked almost brand new. Terios. Given how popular Shadow is, we know a lot about him during development, and with that we have several concepts of what he could have looked like, with the most popular being Terios, with Terios meaning reflection of. And you know, despite him looking really close to Sonic, these concepts look cool. Death grinding. Yeah, I couldn't find anything on this. Man, what a way to end the video. Wait, end?
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy.